What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the TheSlamDuncan YouTube channel. And this video is going to be me going through the Heart Crusher, the Bulls versus Portland Trailblazers game that the Bulls lost to by Damian Lillard 3-point shot at the buzzer. This video is just going to be me just breaking down. I'm going to first break down the just a collapse in the last 11 seconds. That's going to be number one. Number two, I'm going to talk about the game as a whole after that and show you a bunch of clips where the Bulls really need to improve. After that, I'm going to show you some of the good stuff that the Bulls did against the Trailblazers today. And then I'm going to finish my thoughts out after that. So just be ready for basically all the ups and downs of this video. But before we get into it, though, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. So, as I'm guessing a lot of you know now, the Bulls lost to the Portland Trailblazers by 1 point. Overall, I think the Bulls, this was not a good game for the Bulls. Yes, they came back, which was good to see. They were down by, I think, about 20 at 1 point in the third quarter. They came back. They got the lead. But overall, though, I think the Bulls did not play well this game. The only portion really what they actually played well was the end of the third quarter and into the fourth until the last basically minute of the fourth quarter. And obviously that led to this loss. I thought the first quarter was very average from the Bulls. I think Portland was able to do anything that they wanted to, but the Bulls weren't, really far behind because they were hitting their threes. The second quarter came around, and the Bulls were just awful, really, from once the starters started to come back in. Levine led the second unit in the second quarter, and I think Levine in the second unit did a damn good job, but once the starters came back in, it plummeted. And then the third quarter was horrible for the first 10 minutes. And then at like 2 minutes left in the third quarter, the Bulls started to really ramp it up, got a good run going. They then were able to take the lead in the fourth quarter and were playing pretty well, and then obviously the collapse happened at the end. Now, already just Twitter is going insane about this last play here. I'm going to show you from what I was thinking and what I think the Bulls should have done and what the Bulls can do better in the last 11.5 seconds of this game. So right now, Kobe White hit both those free throws. Now it's a 5-point game. This should be a win, really. And if you just execute everything properly, then this should be a win. We should not have lost this game. Now I'm going to start here with the Lillard 3-point shot because I want to already point out something that I think the Bulls did wrong. So right here, as you can see, there was very little denial of Lillard. In my opinion, I think if you're the Bulls, you let anybody take the ball or catch the ball than Damian Lillard. Just anybody else. Don't let Damian Lillard touch that ball because he is the one person on that Portland Trailblazers team that can hit a crazy shot to get the Trailblazers right back in it, right? And look what happened. So right here, to me, this is in Lillard's range. I don't care who you are. Like, if you're the best defender in the world, you need to be up in Lillard's face right here. Force him to go to the basket. Only give up a 2-point shot, right? And instead, though, I think Kobe's already too far back. One, he already allowed Lillard to get the ball in the first place, which I think was an issue. And I don't think Lillard did a good job right here of trying to deny that. And then number two, I think he's already too far back right here. This is already too much space for Lillard. And as you can see, he shot it and he made this crazy 3-point shot. I don't even know how far away that is. I think 38 feet maybe. But he hits this. Okay, so already in just those that was about 11 seconds. Or I'm sorry, that's from 11.5 to 8.2, so that's about 3 seconds, all right? In just 3 seconds, I think the Bulls already made two big mistakes right there. And the biggest one is that you let Lillard get the shot. And already I'm like, crap, that's not good because now the Bulls have to inbound it. Now, right here after that shot went in my head, I'm already thinking, okay, Billy Donovan's going to call a timeout right here. And yes, I do think Billy Donovan should have called a timeout. I listened to his post-game press conference, and he said that he should have called a timeout. But in my opinion, here's the thing. There's 8.2 seconds left here, and if you're the Bulls, you need to make sure that you just get this ball inbounded, and then you hold on to it right. You just need to secure the inbound, and then make sure you don't give it up in any way, shape, or form, right? And to be honest, if you think about it, if you're Billy Donovan, you might start thinking, well, let's say they foul immediately and only a couple seconds come off the clock. That means that Portland still has time, right, on that clock to hit potentially another shot. Then that's when you might want to use that timeout again. But either way, though, here's the thing. let's say the Bulls didn't have a timeout in this situation. This still shouldn't be an issue, right? I think Billy was more thinking like this should be a learning curve right here. I'm not going to call a timeout because I want to see my team be able to execute right in this situation, act like we don't have a timeout, right? And I think that's what Billy was kind of thinking, but he still, took upon himself, like saying that I should have called a timeout. Now, on this play, this is where just things go wrong. Do I think that a foul should have been called? Yes. Do I think the jump ball was called way too early? Yes. Do I think that Gary Trent and did not have any hands on the ball? Yes. I don't think Gary Trent really had any of his hands on the ball. I think Rodney Hood was grabbing LaVine. I think Gary Trent was also grabbing LaVine. Yes, I do think it was a foul. And if there was supposed to be a jump ball called, it was called way too early. Yes. But that does not excuse from the poor execution from the Bulls right here. I'm going to point out one by one. All right, number one is this. If you're Zach LaVine, okay, this is fine. You have enough space right here. You're not like at the corner, right? You have plenty of space here. But the fact that you're even going towards the corner, your momentum's going towards the corner, that's an issue already. You do not want to get yourself trapped here in this corner, right? But here's the thing. If you're the Bulls, right when you inbound this ball, there needs to be another immediate pass because you should be waiting for a trap to come right at you. And this is the next problem. Right here, Thaddeus Young, after he inbounded, he inbounded too far back in the out of bounds area. Right when he inbounds that ball, Thaddeus Young needs to already be established inbounds so LaVine can pass it. Everyone was yelling at LaVine to pass that ball, but if you look at this play right here, he really did not have enough time to get this ball out to Thaddeus Young safely because Thaddeus Young was too far back in the out-of-bounds area, and he still has not established himself inbounds yet because you need 2 feet inbounds, not just 1. So I don't think LaVine had actually the opportunity to pass this ball. Now, as we continue here, as you can see, LaVine then tries to pivot in between those two. That's obviously not good either. You need to pivot away and bring the ball over your head and start looking over those two guys. So between LaVine and Young, they both made humongous mistakes, but I actually think the biggest mistake right here is Thaddeus Young did not establish himself inbounds quickly enough. And then obviously the tie-up happens, which happened in 2 seconds after the inbound, which just seems kind of crazy to me. So I think LaVine was thinking that he was going to get fouled immediately, which is not a good thing to think. You need to make sure that you have the ball secured and then make sure you get it out safely to then Thaddeus Young or whoever the inbounder is. But I also have to say that I can't 100% say that it's on just these two right here. There could have easily been someone else potentially like right here as well. Someone else that LaVine can throw to. Another option or an outlet for LaVine to throw to. Because as you saw right here, Thaddeus Young was not established in bounds and quickly enough, and LaVine just did not have enough time to throw that ball in. So then this happens, and then the jump ball. Now, I've also seen people be like, LaVine, you have the best vertical like ever. How did you not win that jump ball? Jump ball is all about timing, right? And also, I don't think the official did a good jump ball. I think it was very low. But the thing about a jump ball is that it's all about timing, right? There's a reason why Yao Ming didn't win every single jump ball, right? So I'm not upset at LaVine not winning that jump ball because he's not used to having to be in that situation, and it's all about timing. And I also think Gary Trent kind of stole it because Gary Trent just kind of jumped really early right here. Now, this is the other thing that I'm just kind of confused by. I don't know if Billy Donovan was able to make a substitution. I thought he was going to be able to, but someone like Arcidiacono, I think, could have easily been in this game right here and made a big difference. Or Satoransky, someone that has length that can get this ball easily. And I think also just in general, I don't know what happens here. I thought the Bulls could have come out with this and making sure that Portland just does not get a possession. Because right now it's kind of a loose ball situation, and Covington doesn't really have the hands on the ball, right? It's kind of loose. It's still loose. In my opinion, I think Markkanen needs to dive. Just dive on the floor and just shove that ball away. Your job right now is to kill clock because the ball's already been tapped, which means the clock is going. 3.4 seconds is left right now. If Markkanen's just able to get his hand on the ball, Lillard doesn't get that shot off. And I'm not going to blame Markkanen too much for this, but just the fact that I feel like he just sometimes isn't willing to dive on the floor or, give up his body in certain situations, that kind of hurt the Bulls right here. I'm also going to blame Garrett Temple as well because I thought he could have potentially dived too, or at least just done something so that this type of situation doesn't happen. So there were just a lot of problems, not just from one player. People need to understand that this game wasn't lost because of LaVine. LaVine, you know, he did mess up on this play right here. He 100% was part of the problem. But again, if you're Thaddeus Young, right when you throw this ball, you need to get inbounds, establish yourself inbounds, so now you're an option. Because right now he's still not an option. He's still out of bounds. He's taking too much time. LaVine does not have the time to throw the ball into Thaddeus Young, and then now you're trapped. That's worst case scenario. You do not want that to happen, and obviously the jump ball then happened after that. So that's just poor execution down the stretch. It hurts, yes. I was happy with the Bulls with their comeback, but then execution then hurts them again. This can't happen right here. And LaVine has to take blame. Young has to take blame. I think someone else should have been here, and they should take some blame. Also, Billy Donovan kind of deserves some blame here because he could have called a timeout, and that would at least make sure that the Trailblazers wouldn't get like a jump ball or an inbounds like right by the basket they need to score at, right? So everyone's at to blame here right now for this last collapse here in 11.5 seconds, right? So that's the last, final play that everyone's been talking about. Again, though, I do think that a foul should have been called. I don't think this was a good call by the official at all. Way too quick jump ball. Gary Trent did not have the ball in his hands. Now, let's get into some of the other stuff for the Bulls for the other parts of the game here. Early on here, I want to just kind of go through some things, show what the Bulls need to kind of improve on. There's a lot of kind of issues going on that I see, especially early in game, and it doesn't seem to get fixed until later, which kind of upsets me. But first off is just this play. So don't worry about the offensive possession here. I think there's a good shot by Patrick Williams, good find by Kobe White. It's a miss, and it's fine if it's a miss. Now, here's the thing. Right now, take a note where all the Portland Trailblazers are. This is a terrible defensive transition by the Bulls right here. All 5 Portland Trailblazers are still are here. They're still trying to rebound, right? All 5 of them, okay? Now, if you look in the picture, you see only 3 Bulls, right? That means 2 guys are running back, right? You would think that they'd be running back, Well, here's the thing. So Lillard's not even really forcing it, but I don't remember who ran. So it was Harry Giles. Okay, Harry Giles just sprinted. I don't know what just happened here. Kobe White and Lauri Markkanen need to communicate, and this is 100% to me on Markkanen. I don't know why you're not picking up this man. You are already back. You're still trotting back, even though you should already be back, and you should have easily beat Harry Giles to the paint here. Harry Giles shouldn't even have this opportunity, but because Markkanen was clearly not paying attention, he gets a wide open layup or dunk. Like that stuff right there is what really hurts me, because that's a big unforced error. You were already back. The Portland Trailblazers really had no one leaking out. You should be very much aware of where guys are and communicating in transition. Like, I got this guy, I got this guy, I got this guy, and then you tell your other teammates, like, you get that guy, right? So I don't know what happened here, but to me, that this play is 100% on Markkanen. I don't think Markkanen was paying attention at all, and that can't happen anymore. That play really, really sucks, okay? Another play here. This is a defensive possession, I believe. Now, this is very quick. This is when Portland was starting to make their run in that second quarter. This is when Portland started to all of a sudden hit their three-point shots that they weren't hitting in the first, and it wasn't like the Bulls were taking away the three. They just were not hitting their shots. Now, here's the thing. So this right here for the Bulls, I think it's pretty okay in defense in transition here. I'm not really too mad because guys got back. Gafford sprinted back, which is what he's supposed to do. LaVine's got this guy. Williams has got this guy. Now, Anthony Simons here. If you're Kobe White, this is too much space already. And something like this can't happen in transition because you have the numbers advantage right now on defense, and you allow a shot like this. This can't happen right here. If you're Kobe White, you got to be aware that I can't give up a quick shot when it's a transition offensive possession for the Trailblazers, and we have numbers on the side of the floor right now. So right here, that's way too much space. Anthony Simons sizes him up, and then bang, it's a three, and now Portland is starting to really go on that run. And actually, this is still a good amount of time before they went on a humongous run at the end of the second. So that's an issue right here. Now, another issue with the Bulls was especially at the first quarter, and then towards the end of the second quarter really showed as well. I thought Portland was really able to just kind of get whatever they wanted for most of this game. and the defense really didn't stop them until the end of the third quarter into the fourth quarter. And this is early in game, and I was already seeing a humongous issue, and this was really driving me insane. So right here, this is transition. If you look right now, and this is what good teams do, Portland automatically sees that Cantor has a mismatch. He has Zach LaVine right now on the post. Now, this automatically should set off your antennas if you're a Bulls defender. Already, you got to know this is a problem. This is a weak spot right here. We need to address this so that it doesn't become an easy 2 points. So now Cantor has the ball. I think LaVine did a pretty decent job of forcing him up a little bit more instead of being locked in the paint. Now, Patrick Williams, I think, is doing a pretty decent job of shading, and this should, at the very least, have Cantor not being willing to drive baseline as much. Now, I do think there's a serious issue right here, and this is Lowry marketing on this play as we keep going. Now, right when this dribble happens, you see that Markkanen's already starting to look at Cantor like, okay, do I dig? Do I come over? Do I show? Like, what do I do here? Patrick Williams has stayed in his position. Now, the Bulls have 2 options here. To me, you can't let this be a one-on-one, right? You can't let Cantor take LaVine one-on-one. So you have to force it out somewhere, because if you let this happen just one-on-one, it's 2 points, basically, for the Trailblazers. Make them do something else to get the points, right? And in my opinion, I think Markkanen needs to come down here and force Cantor to force it out. Force Cantor to force it back out to the perimeter, because after he forces that pass out, LaVine then can go out onto the perimeter, and then Markkanen can guard Cantor. In my head, that makes perfect sense, but this is what I'm so nervous with Markkanen on defense right here, because, look, he's just so unwilling to come down, and it's fine if he does, because the Bulls can then guard 3 guys with these 2 guys up here, and then once that pass is thrown out, LaVine then can run out, right? This is a pretty tough pass for Cantor to make across to the weak side in the corner already. So if you're Markkanen, you just basically got to come down here just a little bit more, use your height, and force this pass out. Instead, though, he's too late and doesn't really come down at all, and it's an easy 2 points for Cantor because it's a mismatch. Now, you're going to think, like, okay, maybe they addressed it, right? Like, this shouldn't be that much of an issue. Well, let me show you. It kind of happened again very, very quickly right after that. So here, I don't know what it is about the Bulls with Markkanen and in transition, but for some odd reason, he gets matched up on guards, and I really don't know why. Now, it's Coby White on Cantor, right? So, same play. Portland recognizes the mismatch. They go right into it. Mouse in the house, free cheese. Now, I think Coby White does a pretty decent job. He forces Cantor to a little bit more up onto the block so Coby White's not stuck directly under the rim. And Markkanen has another decision to make. It's the exact same set, right? It's funny because Markkanen's in the exact same position. What are you going to do this time? We saw what happened when LaVine guarded him one-on-one. What are you going to do now with an even smaller guy and Coby White guarding Cantor one-on-one? Otto is doing the exact same thing that Patrick Williams did, and that's so it doesn't allow Cantor to go immediately baseline. But if you're Markkanen, again, you're too late. Cantor already dribbled. Once that dribble happens right here, right now, Markkanen needs to come on over, because there is plenty of time for Young and Williams to guard these 3 guys at the top of the key. That's not that great of spacing by the Portland Trailblazers. And again, if Markkanen can come down here, guard Cantor, that means Coby White can come up to the man that he was guarding initially. Then Markkanen can just stay on Cantor. But instead, though, after 2 dribbles, it's already too late, and Cantor gets a wide open hook shot right over 6'5" Coby White, while Cantor 6'11". So, again, problems that the Bulls need to address. That type of stuff just can't happen anymore. And I know I'm picking on Markkanen a lot here, but he was a big issue, especially early on in this game, where it just seemed like he was just not aware. Like, he was just not paying attention. And I showed you 3 plays where it's like, hey, you got to wake up, man. You got to wake up defensively. You scored 31 points tonight on offense, which shows to me that you're in the game, but you need to also bring it defensively. I'm not asking you to guard guys one-on-one. I'm not asking you to block a bunch of shots. I'm just asking you to be in the right place at the right time and being aware of where you need to be and where to help guys so that it can help your defense as a whole, right? But he's just not getting it right now, and then it really, really scared me for the second half, because then the Bulls and Billy Donovan decided we're going to put Markkanen in the center now, And Markkanen just seems like he's just so scared of the paint, right, at this moment. But I'm going to show you some good things, right? So, first off, to all you Daniel Gafford fans that said, let's start Gafford, you got the biggest slap in the face today when Gafford was benched to start the second half for Otto Porter Jr. So, yet again, I am telling you that Daniel Gafford should not be starting for the Chicago Bulls. And Wendell Carter Jr. is a humongous piece for this Bulls team, as pointed out by Stacey King on the broadcast and a bunch of Bulls fans tonight, because we saw how much the Bulls missed Wendell Carter Jr. tonight. Now, anyway, though, I want to show you some things that I think Markkanen did really good tonight, even though I picked on him a lot. Overall, I think LaVine and Markkanen did pretty well tonight on offense. I think LaVine did pretty okay on defense, but I also just love what LaVine did tonight to make sure that he got the rest of his team involved early. And he did not take a shot at all in the first quarter. He ended, I think, with 26 points on 12 shots. That's really efficient. He did have a bunch of turnovers, but I think a lot of those turnovers today were actually him trying to make the right pass, but it just, was a split second too late. So you just got to get better in that decision making. It wasn't that careless, in my opinion. But let's show you a couple things. I was screaming at Lauri Markkanen to attack the paint after the first half because he just kept shooting perimeter shot after perimeter shot, and he made a couple of threes in the first quarter, but it just seemed like, man, you gotta attack the paint at some point because Kanter's not that good of a defender, and you're missing some perimeter shots. Now, once Markkanen decided, hey, I'm going to become a threat in the paint, look what happens, right? Pick and roll, it's basically kind of like a horn set, but it's a double screen, top of the key. Now, if you're Markkanen, you roll, which he did finally on this play, and it was really good. The Bulls swing it to the corner. Now Markkanen has a lane right here, and as you can see, Kanter's not that good of a defender, does not have that much lift, can't block that many shots, and this is an easy layup for Markkanen. I want Markkanen to do that like every single game. Like, no questions asked. Just do that every single game. Attack the paint first, then extend out to the three-point line, because the previous 5 shots or 4 shots that Markkanen took before that, he missed all of them, and guess what? They were all on the perimeter. He took like 3 threes and an 18-footer, missed, and it's because he's shooting from the perimeter instead of attacking the paint when he should be, right? All right, right here, again, simple, just kind of like a pick and roll set. Don't really know what happened. Markkanen should have probably set the screen, but another pass to Patrick Williams, by Patrick Williams to Otto Porter. Now, LaVine does a good job here. He catches it, pump fakes, and now instead of taking a crazy shot where you're going to have basically 3 defenders on you, right? He then draws all 3 defenders and understands that Markkanen's right here, and Markkanen gets the catch and an easy layup again in the paint. Now, you're probably thinking like, well, Duncan, it's not that bad of an idea if you have Markkanen out at the corner, right? To me, I'm like, if you got 2 easy points in the paint, I want you to shoot that instead of taking this 3. Yes, it's a wide open 3, and Markkanen can easily knock it down, but this is a higher percentage shot, right? And it's a very easy shot. And I'd rather have this instead of a wide open 3-point shot, especially at the end of a possession. This is good stuff by LaVine and Markkanen to attack the paint. So, after 2 buckets in the paint, right? 2 buckets of being a threat down low, look what happens right after. Now, it's a pick and roll, but you see guys, they're now packing the paint. You see even Lillard is coming over and pre-rotating to make sure that the Bulls can't get into the paint so quickly. Markkanen then fades. Now he's got himself going a little bit, and look, now you shoot that 3-point shot, because now Kanter's so worried about you inside, and he's so far back now, and was trying to blitz Kobe White. Now you're able to take that 3-point shot, which is good to see. And that's when I want you to start shooting those threes. And I kind of wish for Lauri Markkanen to get to the free throw line tonight. I don't think he did. If he did, then it was very few shots. But when you have, 1, Robert Covington guarding you and you're a 7-footer, and number 2, the opposing team does not have that much of a rim protector and a Kanter, I want you to attack the paint first and then stretch out your game to the 3-point line once you get yourself going or get yourself to the free throw line, because not only will the defense be worried about your paint, but then they're going to come flying at you at the 3-point line, which then is going to open up not only your lanes to the paint, but other people's lanes to the paint as well. So, one other good thing here. Now, I tweeted during this game how this is happening a lot at the end of the game, especially the last 5 minutes, where the Bulls would run a pick and roll with LaVine and Thaddeus Young. And what Portland was doing basically all night was trapping LaVine, and LaVine was making a perfect pass to Thaddeus Young, who had a bunch of assists tonight. And Thaddeus Young was doing the right thing of that he would then draw another defender. It's a 3-on-4 though, so the Bulls have 4 guys that they can go to, and Thaddeus Young was just pitching it to whoever was open. Now, this is one of those plays. Right here, LaVine got trapped. but instead of throwing to Thaddeus Young, threw to Kobe White, which Kobe White did a good job of coming to the ball. And Thaddeus Young's already rolling, right? So now Kobe throws it to Thaddeus, which then draws in Covington here, and also kind of draws in Hood. But as you see, Lauri Markkanen's wide open. I'm okay with the shot right here. I think this is a pretty good shot, especially because it's in rhythm. And also, you just don't want to accidentally get your pass stolen if you cut to the paint. So I like this right here. And as you see, Markkanen knocked it down. And Markkanen had a lot of shots like this at the end of the game, which he knocked down a few, he missed a few. But I feel like in some of those plays, though, and even some of the ones that he didn't make, I felt like Markkanen should have cut to the rim a little bit more. Because, one, Kanter's out guarding, blitzing LaVine, right? The paint doesn't really have that much of a rim protector. And Thaddeus Young is a very capable passer, as we've seen, that I thought Markkanen, instead of taking that wide open three-point shot from the wing here, which was a lot of his shots, that I thought he should have cut to the rim instead, which he then did eventually, closer to the, I think one of the last possessions for the Bulls. But I thought he should have done it a little bit earlier because the Portland Trailblazers were very content on just giving Markkanen that three-point shot instead of letting LaVine do what LaVine's going to do. So I thought really that Markkanen should have cut to the rim. That's an easier bucket for Markkanen than obviously a three-point shot. Even though it's wide open, I would rather you get the absolute 2 points than potentially getting 3 points. And you have a better chance of missing that than missing a layup, right? Especially with no Kanter in the paint because he's out blitzing LaVine. So that's kind of just the good stuff from Markkanen. I know I kind of just pointed like it was really direct at him this entire video, but I will say that I am not exactly thrilled with what Markkanen has done. Since he's got back from being under protocol. I thought that like the previous 2 games where he went against the Lakers, he went against the Celtics, I was just so upset with him because I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be the second guy on this roster, right? And I don't really care who then the matchup is. If Anthony Davis is guarding you, which he really was against the Lakers, that I don't really care if he is guarding you, but you got to find a way to score or assert yourself because you're supposed to be a main offensive threat. Against Boston, he had a height advantage over everybody on that team and did not take advantage of it, and I was really upset with him in that. But in the second half of this game, I was so happy with what Markkanen is doing. I showed you that he was in the paint more. He was attacking the rim more, and I want to see that from him every single game because obviously he plays best when he's attacking the rim first and then shooting the three. So good stuff from Markkanen tonight in the second half. Obviously, still needs to work on his awareness and defense. I thought LaVine in general, I don't have that many LaVine highlights, but I think you kind of saw all the good stuff from LaVine tonight. But again, I said it earlier, LaVine was getting his guys involved early on, which was really good to see. And he just shot so efficiently tonight. I was so happy with his performance. Obviously, though, again, end of the game execution is something that he still needs to work on, but also the entire team needs to work on. I think really the only bad thing for LaVine again for this game was just that last play where he somehow it ended up in a jump ball, which I don't think it was a jump ball. Kobe White also deserves some praise here. I think Kobe White came out on fire and was doing everything that he needed to do. It was interesting to see because LaVine came out as basically kind of the point guard, so Kobe White was able to just kind of do whatever he wanted to and be more of the off guard and look for his three-point shot, which is really good to see. And I hope the Bulls kind of do that a little bit more, and especially now with Satoransky back. Have Kobe kind of shift at moments, be the off guard, just be more of a scorer instead of a passer. But even with Kobe's passes and some of his turnovers, I liked Kobe's passing today. I thought even when it was a turnover, he was still having the right mindset of like, I want to throw this ball here, or I should throw it to this guy right here. And it could have just been a split second too late, which again is just, be more aware. It's not unforced errors, right? So there's just that from Kobe White. And Thaddeus Young, again, I've already talked about how well he played, but he has come out and shown that he can really be a great asset off the bench. He did not shoot very well. He kind of missed some gimmies, but 11 rebounds, 11 assists, drew a charge today. I love him in the pick and roll with LaVine, and also his ability to set up anybody for this Bulls team is really, really, really nice to see because with Wendell Carter Jr. out, as we've seen that we're missing Wendell Carter Jr.'s passing, And if a team is going to blitz Levine, Thaddeus Young is a great guy to have to be an outlet, so then he can also make the pass to then the wide open man, which hopefully the Bulls start understanding that they can then cut to the rim a little bit more instead of having to just stand at the three-point line waiting for the ball to be passed to them. So good stuff from that. And then I want to just lastly talk about Patrick Williams. I thought Patrick Williams came out at the gate like really, really good. He came out shooting some mid-range shots. I do think the Bulls need to get him involved a little bit more. I don't know how they do that, though, because unfortunately with Patrick Williams, he's seeing his minutes kind of decrease a little bit, and I think it's just because of lack of awareness with him being a rookie and the game's kind of going too fast for him. He kind of tends to pick up like a little ticky-tack foul that he's not supposed to, or he kind of makes a play that or misses a rotation or just doesn't pick up a guy. So it's kind of like we need to have the vets out there, especially in like a really crucial moment. I'm hoping the Bulls can kind of start winning, like get a game where they're leading instead of being behind, so that Billy Donovan's more comfortable letting Patrick Williams be out there instead of having to think like, okay, we need to get back into this game, so that he'll throw his vets out there. So I hope the Bulls against the Knicks on Monday can have like a big lead, or at least like let's just say like a 10-point lead, so that Billy Donovan's going to allow Patrick Williams to play more minutes. But I'm happy to see him come out, really, really aggressive early. I just wish that he kept it up throughout the rest of the game. And I also thought that he kind of missed some things defensively tonight. There was a little bit of a communication factor that just wasn't there. He was supposed to one play switch with Kobe White, but just didn't switch, and then he got benched immediately because of it. So I hope Patrick Williams does come out better and just as aggressive, and then gets some more playing time in the future. And last thing I do want to point out, I guess, is I wish Satoransky got some more minutes tonight. He was making some great passes. Along with here's the thing about the box score, because you're gonna look at like Levine and Satoransky and Kobe. They're like, wow, that's not that many of assists. Like, why did Thaddeus Young lead you in assists? Like, the thing is about passing is that it's not always gonna show up in the box score, right? Levine, Kobe, and Satoransky, they're making some incredible passes and really good passes, but it ended up that they get the hockey assist instead of the actual assist because they threw it to Thaddeus Young, who then threw it to another guy for a bucket, right? That's still really good passing from those three guys. We just have to be aware that it's not always going to show up in the box score. But I was happy to see that Satoransky played over Valentine in the second half, because Satoransky barely played in the first half, and Valentine got some good minutes. But I hope Satoransky plays over Valentine in the upcoming games, because his just leadership and ball control is just so vital for this team moving forward. So, that's all I really have for this Bulls versus Trailblazers game. I broke down the last play. I broke down what the Bulls really need to work on, especially defensively. And then I showed you some good stuff for the Bulls, mostly filled with a lot of marketing and stuff, but just think of it as in general, like this team needs to work on all the stuff that I talked about as a team, not just one player. Bulls face the Knicks, I think. Yeah, Bulls face the Knicks in the next game on Monday. I'm hoping that they understand, like, okay, we blew last game. We should have won last game, but now we're going to come out and make sure that we come out good, which they kind of did not do against Portland. We're going to hopefully maintain a lead and then finish the game strong no matter if we're down or if we're up. We just got to finish the game strong and properly execute down the stretch. So that's all I have for you on this video. Look out. I have a video in mind that I'm going to be making for next week. It's going to be about the Bulls potentially thinking about going after Lonzo Ball, or a lot of fans want the Bulls to go after Lonzo Ball. So just look out for that video. I have a lot of thoughts on that. Hope you guys will enjoy that one. But if you got to this point in the video, you had to like something, so make sure you hit that like button. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.